guys, what is up? I'm back with the Mr. Nightmare video. My birthday is in a week, and we all know what that means. And 2 days after my birthday is Halloween, so my birthday is October 29th. So I'm going to be 23 soon, and Halloween is right around the corner as well. So, let me just start this up. Start. Cool. So yeah, 3 true unsettling Halloween horror stories. Unsettling. Truly unsettling. So that's it's not really a true story. They're just saying that it's like really unsettling, like truly unsettling. But that doesn't mean the stories are true. Curious what happens here. So obviously, based on this, we're not really supposed to. Yeah, we're not really supposed to upload videos of his, but I've seen people upload videos of Mr. Nightmare and it was fine. Mr. Nightmare reaction. Yeah, like 12 hours ago, a day ago. I've seen a lot of people upload videos with Mr. Nightmare, so I hope it's okay. I feel like it's just saying re-uploading them, but like reacting I think is okay. I think it just means like people that are actually like uploading them as if it's their own. It's not their own. But yeah, guys, this is truly unsettling. 3 truly unsettling Halloween horror stories. And again, I like Halloween. I like dressing. I don't like dressing up. I like dressing up the house in Halloween decorations.
This happened back when I was 17, my last Halloween at home before going away to college. It was Halloween in our peaceful town where nothing bad ever happens. Our house is in the wealthier side of town, and while our house would be described as gorgeous by anyone not from the area, the real head turner is our next door neighbor's house. It sits on that line of being called just a huge house or a mansion. They always go crazy with their decorations for any holiday, specifically Halloween and Christmas. This one year was no exception. By October 1st, they already had all their crazy decorations out. Some houses go the cute and innocently spooky route, like with smiling ghosts and blow-up decorations. But our neighbors go the actual scary route, with the fake graves, fake bloody body bags, actually scary-looking fake corpses, etc.
Are the corpses actually real this time? Oh shit, that would be a twist.
Actually draws a lot of attention. People know to drive by and take videos, so it's never uncommon to see cars just sitting in front of their house in the middle of the street from time to time. I'll rename my neighbors' names to Mike and Donna just to not blow up their spots even more. Fast forward to Halloween Day. It was luckily a Friday this year, so that meant parties and all that could be held on actual Halloween.
Yeah, this year it's a Monday, so it sucks.
My dog Bear sleeps downstairs in the corner of our dining room, and he woke me up really early morning, like 4 a.m. when it was still pitch black outside. He was barking at something outside. I yelled across the house to shut up, Bear, and my mom came out into the hall and did the same. Bear stopped barking after this, but I had no idea what he was barking at. I fell back asleep quickly after that, and...
Like, it's easy to tell your dog to shut up, but at the same time, why is it barking? Like, usually it might be a squirrel, it might be something stupid, but the odd time it might be something serious, so you gotta...
Woke up to my alarm like 2 hours later. So I started getting ready for school as my dad was leaving for work.
5:30.
As he stepped out onto the front deck.
School? You get up at 5:30 for school? I get up at like 7:30, 8.
He came back in and got mad at me and said, "Damn it, Zach, clean up the dog shit." He thought I let our dog crap in the front of the house for some reason. I told him I definitely didn't, though. He was in a hurry, so he left without more arguing. Next up, it was my turn to leave for school, and as I left the house, I got a whiff of something kind of unpleasant. I now knew what my dad was talking about. I didn't see any dog crap anywhere, though. Later, when I got home around 2, I still smelled that smell. I had no idea what it was, but it was really starting to stink. My parents were both at work. My parents wanted me to hand...
If that's the house, that's honestly so good. That's probably so much, like effort, though. But that's so nice. Like, look at this freaking psychopath over there. And all these on the windows. Like, that's honestly pretty cool. Like, we dress up our house too in Halloween stuff. More so lights, because I like lights better, because I just like lights everything up. And then we have like these kind of like party lights, and I have my speaker play some scary music, you know, just to make it nice and cool. It's not like terrifying, but like it's nice, and it gets you in the Halloween mood, you know.
Now candy when trick-or-treaters started coming. It wasn't until around 4 to 5 that they started coming. When I opened the door to the first few trick-or-treaters, I'd get a whiff of that increasingly horrible stink, and the kids and their parents clearly smelt it too because they were all commenting on it. One parent told me it was even worse next door. I started to know whenever to expect the doorbell to ring because I'd hear groups of people pointing out how horrible it smelt. At one point, I saw Mike and Donna in front of their house, looking around. So I went outside and went over to ask them if they smelled that too. But that was hardly a question because it got worse on their property. It clearly was coming from the front of their property. But there wasn't any dog crap or anything.
I'm telling you, the body bags, there's a real body in there.
The smell was coming from one of the body bag decorations. Only it apparently wasn't a decoration. The couple had a number of fake body bags leaned on things like the mailbox and their front tree. But there was one just laying flat on the ground, and Mike said to Donna that he didn't put that one there when she asked. The smell was unbearable from this bag. Mike ran to grab a knife and cut the bag open, and what we saw made me sick. He of course cut the top of the bag open, revealing the rotting face of an actual human corpse inside the bag. We all put our hands over our mouths in disgust, wanting to throw up. And of course, there was an audience of kids and parents to see what was going on. It became a huge scene. Mike called the cops, and their whole front yard literally became a crime scene with people gathering from all over to watch, even though the cops kept telling everyone to clear out. The body was taken away. I told the police that my dog Bear was barking last night at like 4 a.m., and he may have been barking at whoever dumped the body there. Mike told my dad a week later that the body turned out to be a local 30-something-year-old guy who had taken his own life.
Oh.
As for who dropped the body there or why, that's unclear. Mike and Donna are very likable people, so we all think it was somebody who just looked at them as some rich, snobby household that overdoes it with the decorations for attention. Obviously, there are some sick people out there.
I low-key thought that Mike and Donna were the psychopaths. Like, I thought maybe this year they got mad by someone or they got really angered by somebody and they're like, you know what, we're just gonna kill this bitch and then put him on as a decoration. Like, okay, well, I apologize to Mike and Donna then, because I judged you guys without, okay, sorry. Anonymous. I feel like anonymous stories are always true, because like you really don't want them to know your name. So it has to be true.
I'm a single 24-year-old female living alone in my grandma's house. The house was basically left to me after she passed away, because my mom didn't want to sell it, and she also doesn't want to move out of her house. So I get to stay in my grandma's house alone. This was last year, Halloween. My first one living in the house alone. I considered just leaving a bowl of candies on the stoop, but I figured that was not the best way to associate a friendly face to the house that I was new to living in. The day went pretty normally. Halloween was on a Sunday.
Yeah, sorry guys, it's literally 4:51 a.m. right now, so I'm not like really awake right now, so yeah. Yeah, I'm not exactly awake right now because it's like 5 a.m., but yeah, I'm awake partially. What's in my eye? I hate when shit gets stuck in my eye, then I can't fucking see.
The trick-or-treaters started coming early on in the day, and it continued all day. Some people asked if my grandma was home, sadly unaware that she had passed away. I explained to those people that I'm her granddaughter, and that I live here now. My grandma was a very loved lady, so it was no shock to me how many people asked about her that day. Mostly everyone who knocked on the door was very friendly and normal. Later on that night, past 9 o'clock, when the trick-or-treaters had dwindled down almost completely, I heard a voice outside the front door say trick-or-treat. No knocking or ringing the doorbell. I was in the kitchen, so I definitely would have heard any knocking, but it did seem possible that he thought he pressed the doorbell but didn't. When I went out to greet him, I saw it was this average height guy in a purple suit and creepy plastic mask. I don't really know what the costume
guy, like a child, like a little boy, an adult, like an adult male, like who?
Was supposed to be, but it was interesting, I guess. When I opened the door, he said trick-or-treat again, but the strange thing was I could tell the guy was a bit older, like a full-grown adult. He was changing his voice to be a little higher pitched, like he was trying to sound younger. It was strange. I assumed he may have had some issues, so whatever. I asked him what his costume was supposed to be, but he didn't answer. He just made eye contact through his mask. I took 2 pieces of candy and dropped it in his pillow sack he was holding, which looked completely empty. That was the part that weirded me out the most.
Maybe a lot of places, like including my own mom. My mom's like, if anybody older comes, like 13, 14, than give them the crappy candy. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Halloween's more for like 5 to 10, 11, 12, and then like 13, 14 is just kind of like you're old now. So me being 23, or trick-or-treating for me. I think I went trick-or-treating when I was like 16 or 17, and we still got a bunch of candy. I just don't really like trick-or-treating because then you want to dig into the candy right away, but then your mom or parent has to check to make sure it's all good and make sure no one tried to poison it. Because that shit still happens because some... I know everyone thinks it's like the typical old lady that's like putting freaking drugs into the thing, but it's possible, but it doesn't mean that it's an old lady doing it. It could be a freaking, adult male. It could be a 20-year-old male like me. Who knows? But yeah, I just never liked it for that reason because I'm just gonna go to the store and buy it myself,
He looked into the sack, then back at me. I said, "Have a good night," and closed the door.
I'm so sorry for pausing again, but like, what is Halloween? Like, why was Halloween even made? Like, what is that? Like, it's not really a holiday, but it's not. It's just kind of like a little event. Like, why does that happen? Like, who thought one day, oh, like I'm gonna make October 31st a day to give out candy to strangers? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why was Halloween created? It began as a Celtic end-of-summer festival during which people felt especially close to deceased relatives and friends. For these friendly spirits, they set places at the dinner table, left treats on doorsteps and along the side of the road, and lit candles to help loved ones find their way back to the spirit world. Interesting. Because I was just kind of thinking, like, who just randomly thought in their head, October 31st, let's make that scary. Like, you know what I mean? I just never understood until now. I was kind of thinking, wait, why does it even exist? I'm not complaining, it's great, but it's like, why?
That was weird. He was the last trick-or-treater of the night. I wondered if he was accompanied by anybody watching over him.
Is there someone right there?
I assumed he was special needs or something. He was clearly a 30-something-year-old man behind that mask. The rest of the candies I just left on the dining room table. Halloween was over. Or so I thought. The next night, around the same time as the previous night.
Next night, so November 1st.
I heard a loud trick-or-treat at the front door. That same creepy, fake, high-pitched voice. I had to have imagined it, I thought. But when I went to check through the peephole in the door, it was him again, in the same costume. And by the looks of it, he had an equally empty pillow sack as the night before. I didn't open the door. No shot in hell. A few minutes later, I heard him shout trick-or-treat again. I ignored it. In fact, I shut off the living room lights to basically say, "Hey, get off my stoop, I'm not answering the door."
Plus, it's not Halloween no more. Bye.
I went upstairs to my room and shut the door and started watching TV in there instead. Out of sight, out of mind. Until I heard a pop at my window. Something was thrown at it, like a rock. I muted the volume on the TV, and a few seconds later, I heard the familiar trick-or-treat. I suddenly was in panic mode. Why was he doing this? I went to the window, lifted it up, and looked down. That man in the purple suit and mask was looking up at me. I threatened him with calling the police. In response, he very slowly lifted his empty-looking pillow sack up and held it open. It seemed he was some asshole trying to scare me, but Halloween was over, and I wasn't amused. I called 911, and police showed up in under 10 minutes. The guy was still outside. He refused to talk to them, so they put him in handcuffs and took his mask off. And as I figured, he was some creepy-looking 30-something-year-old guy. They told me they were bringing him down to the station, but apparently they let him out within 48 hours, because 2 nights later, he came back to my house, this time at the backyard door. He never knocked or rang the bell. He'd just stand outside with his empty sack and costume, creepily yelling trick-or-treat.
What?
I called the police again and told them he's back, and once again the police came and arrested him. I swear to God, a week later the man had returned once again, throwing a rock at my window. This time when I called 911, he seemed to actually disappear before the police had gotten there. But regardless, it seemed the police didn't really care to do anything. Either that or they couldn't. Luckily, I think the man lost interest, because he hasn't returned since then.
Thank
At least
God.
as far as I know, unless he's been hiding in my bushes watching me, which is disturbing to imagine. Halloween is coming up, and I'm kind of nervous he's gonna come back.
Shit. Yeah, it's like, why do people do that? Like, some people are just so, like, creepy like that, and it just makes me kind of scared. Like yesterday, I honestly thought someone was following me home from work. No, from the gym. I went to the gym at like 12:30, and I came back around just before 2 a.m. because my gym's 24 hours. So I was just kind of thinking, yeah, like, why am I being followed? Like, am I being followed? Like, did he turn on my street with me? Like they put a signal. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like a longest story because I like talking. I could make it a 15-minute story, but yeah, it's just scary. Another anonymous one. That's
I was
pretty.
10 years old in 5th grade.
10 years
I
old.
was planning on going trick-or-treating with my friend Jordan. We already knew the route we were going to take. It was the
That's
first
cute.
year that we were being allowed to trick-or-treat alone.
10 years old. I definitely wouldn't let you go alone at 10 years old. Like I get it, you want to be like grown up and all that, but 10, you're still pretty petite. You know what I mean? Like unless you're a big 10-year-old, then okay. But I don't know. I still wouldn't like the fact that my kid's 10 and going alone with another 10-year-old. Like again, there's creepy people walking around. There's teenagers, and you just never know where you're gonna come across. So 10 years old.
My mom gave us big bags for candy. It was a weekend night, so we could luckily stay out later. We did some day trick-or-treating, and after about 2 hours, we went back to my house and took a break. My parents ordered Chinese food for dinner. Jordan stayed for dinner. Then around like 7 or 8, we went back out for some night trick-or-treating.
That's pretty.
My parents wanted us to stay close. We obviously said yes to that, but we kind of strayed off a different, further away route that we knew less kids would go down. Everything was going as normal. Less houses would open their doors after dark, we noticed, though. But there were still some kids out trick-or-treating since it was the weekend. One house we got to, we rang the bell, and within like 10 seconds, as if he were waiting by the door, a man opened up. Looking back, he was a bald man, looked like he was 45, and had a small gap between his two front teeth that we noticed when he smiled as he opened the door. He was overly friendly from the start, complimenting our costumes, trying to ask us where we're from.
Okay, no. So, like saying, hey, you know, like, oh, like, what's your costume supposed to be? That's normal. Everybody does that. Like, oh my god, what's your costume supposed to be? So cute, you know, but that's it. Where you from? Red flag. Jail. Like, I'm not telling you where I'm from, but I know where you're going. Jail. Just saying. So if you ask me any more questions, jail time for you, bud. But yeah, honestly though, like, you just ask, like, you know, like, what's your costume supposed to be? They say it, you say, okay, you know, thank you, or goodbye, yeah, bye. You don't ask no more questions. Anything else? Sus.
Just being overly conversational. We just wanted candy.
Plus they're 10.
He eventually said he has the candy inside if we want to come in for a second.
No, fam. No. No. Your job, bitch, is to have it at the door so no one comes in. That's sus. You really think people are going to come in? I swear to God, these kids went in. Again, they're 10 years old. Because if their mom and dad were there, they'd be like, no, you're not going in there. Like, even if the parents went in with them, I would say no. We're not going in there. We're not dying on a Halloween night. No.
Followed with, he wanted to show us this cool Halloween decoration he had inside. He described it as some talking skeleton trapped in a cage begging to be let out.
No. No.
Jordan and I weren't comfortable going inside this man's house, though.
Yeah, definitely not.
When we said that in not so many words, he said he understood, and asked if we wanted to come in real quick just to pick out the candies that we want.
No! You bring the candy to me. If not, bye.
We said it's fine, he could just give us whatever. He tried to insist one more time, and we said no.
No.
He said no worries, and went inside to grab us some random candies. They were
Like
these
poison.
kiwi candies wrapped in see-through wrappers. We thanked him and left.
Poisoned.
As we walked away from his front door, we noticed he didn't close the door. He just watched us as we left. We walked away from his house down the sidewalk, and after another glance back, we now noticed he was walking in front of his house slowly with his hands on his hips. We considered running away, but there were other people down the block, so nothing would happen most likely. We just skipped the next house and went to the house 2 doors down. A woman answered, and we told her about the creepy man 2 doors down. She said she didn't know him at all, but that we should tell our parents when we get home. We ran into these 2 kids going in the direction of the creepy man's house. We stopped them and warned them not to go there, and their reaction said it all. They already went to his house too, and had the same exact thing happen to them. They looked to be our age as well. We asked what candy he gave them, and it turned out to be the same candies. They already threw theirs away, so we dug into our bags, found them, and threw them away as well.
Good.
If anybody would be sus enough to lace candies, it would be a guy like that. We wondered what exactly that man was trying to do if we were to have actually entered his house. Like, was he actually just innocently trying to show us something, or
No.
did he have other intentions?
Other
Our
intentions.
question was answered the next day, because that man ended up on the news for attempting to lure kids into his house, claiming he had a new puppy. It seemed his story changed for different kids, possibly based on their ages. Thank God it sounded like everyone was smart enough to not enter the man's house.
Yeah, that's what I mean, guys. Like, if there was an adult there, they'd say, no, you're not going in that house. But then, you as a kid, you may think that, you know, it's safe, and you may think it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. And, like, you have to know that. I'm not saying you have to know that, but, like, again, if you're not old enough to understand what that means, go with a parent. Again, 10 years old, I wouldn't, even 12 or 13, I'd be kind of like, maybe 12 or 13, you can go yourself, but, or, like, with a friend or something. I have no idea when I started going myself. I have no idea, actually. I know around 16, 17, I went with friends. But obviously, because we were older, obviously at the time, 16, we didn't get a lot of candy. But yeah, I remember going when I was like 10 and 11, got a lot of candy, and my mom like threw some candy away that, you know, she thought was kind of sus, just in case. And yeah, honestly, it's hard to trust others. Again, like, they're literally giving you candy that they bought and stuff like that, which is, it's great, but it's like, you never know. And again, every single year, on November 1st, November 2nd, there's always something in the news I see. Needle found in candy, drugs found in candy, fentanyl found. There's always something. Every single year, I see one article at the very least. On November 1st, November 2nd, always something. Always. So please be careful, guys. I don't know where you guys are from, but there's always at least one in our city or one in our area. At least in Ontario, you know, like, there's always someone. It's never just totally normal, where everyone's just totally friendly, you know, oh, here's some candy, do you want to come in? No, I don't want to come in, you bitch. Like, no, it's just sus. Like, come on now. Do you want to come inside? Yeah, totally, yeah, no. Okay. Anyways, at least those kids were smart enough to say no, along with the other kids as well, which was obviously fantastic. So they were obviously raised right. Don't talk to strangers, stranger danger. But yeah, with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to like, comment down below what you guys thought. Have you guys had any experiences with Halloween? Scary? Well, I guess that's kind of the point. I know there was like something that when I was a kid, there was like something that was like a statue or something, or looked to be one. So it's here, and I'm kind of like eyeing it as I go up to the door to get the candy. And then as they come down, they say boo, and I freaking jumped. I was like, you fucking, like, I don't know how old I was, but I swear to God, I was swearing at him. And then a few years ago, when I was like 16, 17, 18 maybe, I was like terrorizing this clown, and then it literally chased me. I had to boot it. It was like those people around, I had to run because a clown was chasing me. But again, I was kind of intimidating it. Then at the end of the night, I was like, oh, I feel bad. I was just trying to have fun, and I'm just a stupid teenager. Then I actually kind of felt bad. I low-key wanted to go back and say sorry because I was just being a douchebag, but I still feel bad, even though that was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. But yeah, since then I was like, I'm not going to that street no more. But yeah, be safe on Halloween, guys. Please check your candy. Make sure that I don't intimidate any clowns, especially clowns, because, you know, Pennywise, good luck, fam. But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Deuces. Peace.